I'm Adam Liaw and welcome to the Cook-Up, the venue for the 2026 Commonwealth Games. Tonight we are making tomato and capsicum penne, mum's chicken schnitty and cabbage slaw, and chicken spare ribs with Australian curry powder. Let's meet our guests. Jackie Challenor is a superstar of Australian food. As the executive chef of Nomad Group, she's been busy overseeing venues across Melbourne and Sydney like Rain and LaRue, Two Hats in the Good Food Guide, New Restaurant of the Year, also Nomad, Beau. She's not too busy though because she's a huge advocate for work-life balance. Welcome, Jackie.
Hey, Adam. Thank you for having me.
You'll know Dave Lawson from your telly in smash hits like The Newsreader, Utopia and Wentworth. He's an actor and a comedian, but he does not joke about his love for a good toastie. His sandwich press is his most prized possession. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, Adam.
Good to see you. Jackie first, how do you strive for work-life balance for yourself as well as for your staff?
Life's too short to not.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've been there. It's just not worth how it used to be, so you've just got to constantly push.
I think it's just like literally just prioritising it, you know, not just putting work first all the time and then trying to fit life into the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like,
us chefs are very good at being martyrs, and there's a little bit of glamour, I think, around saying that you work in a 110-hour week. I've done it. I've been there. But you've got to be able to set the boundaries for yourself, and if you don't, then nobody else will do it for you. And I guess part of my role is being able to identify that and do it for the teams as well. So,
Dave, is the life of an actor-comedian very stressful and busy too? Because like you kind of got to
110 hours a week as well, mate.
But it is. I think it's harder than most people think it is.
I think you've got to learn not to worry when you're not working, because often you're not working and you spend that time worrying that you're not working or you're not doing anything, where you should just be enjoying it and using the sandwich press and learning, upskilling in the kitchen, which is what I've been trying to do. Which I'm surprised that I'm here. Like, I'm not known as a cook or a chef.
I'm not known as a comedian. I still try and crack jokes, you know? I do my best. Anyway. Look out, tonight the specials board says that we are serving the great Australian pub meal at home. Do you think our pubs, Jackie, from a chef's perspective in Australia, serve food that tastes good?
well, yeah, we can do better.
Yeah,
I think the level of quality, it varies quite a lot.
It does, and, you know, to be honest, I think, Dave, I don't know if you agree with me on this, you go to a pub, not just because I'm looking forward to the best schnitzel I've ever going to have in my life. You're like, I'm going to have a schnitzel.
Disagree on that. I love it, yeah.
But even if it's terrible, it's still good.
Yeah, I just want a big, giant piece of butterfly chicken over the fries, because there's another thing. Do you put the schnitzel on top of the fries?
Oh, God,
No.
Huh?
It's half on. Well, are you a soggy chip man or a crunchy chip
You want some on the side, and then when you go, oh, there's some bonus chips underneath.
They're not bonus. Like, look at these ruined chips that my schnitzel just ruined.
It's like a sort of semi-mash sort of thing you got going on there.
This is going to turn into a pub fight here in a minute. But my great Australian pub meal to make at home is a tomato and capsicum penne. So I reckon most pub menus, when you go in the vegetarian option, because the Daves and Adams of this world are going in for the schnitty, right?
So am I.
Well, I didn't want to judge. It's just that we've spoken about it before. And the vegetarian option is quite often a veggie pasta. I'm not against that. I think pasta is a great vegetarian thing. Like, quite often at home, most of the pastas that we will make will be vegetarian in some way too, just because I think it's easy, affordable, you don't miss the meat, because it's all about the pasta kind of thing. However, I think we could probably do vegetarian pasta a little bit better. It's usually, I don't know, it's almost like a fridge clean-out vegetarian pasta when you get it in a pub. It's like, oh, we're going to throw some zucchini and some eggplant and stuff in here, whereas I think pasta generally tends to benefit from a little bit more restraint in that area. I'm going to make a very simple tomato pasta, I guess. That's going to involve a bit of onion, a bit of garlic, a bit of capsicum, you know, just ordinary stuff. But just, you know, it'll be like, oh, I'm getting the ordinary Neapolitan tomato pasta, but then there'll be a little bit of capsicum and stuff in there that you won't even know. Anyway.
Sneaky veggies.
Just an idea. What is your standard pub order, Jack, when you go into a pub?
It's always a palmy or a parma, depending whether or not you're in Victoria or...
You moved to Melbourne, so now you've got to, like, change...
It's the palma.
You got to learn the language, you know?
I do. So, palma, but it's always a schnitty. I don't... Like, who peruses a menu at a pub?
I would go for the specials, check if they've got a special that night,
Will
If it's
you?
a steak night, yeah, if you get a steak.
Oh,
Pork
yeah,
belly?
yeah, an economics-based special, not like a,
well, you have to.
how's the duck à l'orange tonight, you know?
You
Is
have
that-
to. You know, if they'll throw in a pot or a schooner, depending on where you are, if it's a palmy in a
no,
pot
fair
or
call.
a parmo. Is it
No,
parmo?
palmy or parma?
Parma.
Yeah.
Would you put ham or not ham on a chicken parmesan?
I was always a ham back in my meat lovers pizza days.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, it doesn't need the ham. There is
Doesn't
no,
need it?
there's no benefit to the ham really, other than $3 extra. Imagine on a Sunday it's $4.50.
No. That's not surprising, but
The ham is unnecessary.
It really
It
is.
doesn't
Yeah.
need to be there.
I genuinely think, you know, France has its bistros. We all kind of understand the French bistro menu. Australia has its pubs, and we all kind of understand the Australian pub menu in some way. Like if you were to list out everything on a pub menu, you'd get 75% of what's there. So this is just essentially garlic, capsicum, and a bit of onion. You know, it's actually not bad as it is, but if you gave that 10 minutes to really kind of cook down, intensify the flavour, because we're doing something that's quite simple, intensifying the flavour is kind of what we need to be all about. Passata in there, and
you've just turned that off, is that?
I did because I have already made one,
Here's one he prepared earlier.
as we say in the biz.
You're going to need to say that at some point as well.
Here's one we
now that
prepared
you're a
earlier.
TV chef, yeah.
I'm a TV chef now. You know what I'm telling everyone?
So all of that, I did put a bit of chilli in here as well. Well, you're going to ruin my shirt if I don't take a bit of care with this.
Do you have backup shirts?
Yeah, I do.
The one you
Hot
prepared
water.
earlier.
It's still warm, so tea towel on top, let that go. And I want this to be quite smooth so that you don't know that the capsicum's in, you don't know the chili's in there.
Oh, look at that.
That's our pasta sauce. I'm going to make something a little bit extra to go on there as well, and that is a smoked paprika oil. So this is smoked paprika, some chili powder, Korean chili powder, which gives us a really nice colour. And I'll just heat up a little bit of oil, dump my spices in, and before that burns too much, I just want to get that up to heat and then add the rest of the oil in. I want to get some heat into it, but not too much. And I'll move these away now because we don't need them anymore. And we're pretty much ready to finish off our pasta. I'll get my sauce going, and so I can get my sauce into the pan. We don't need all of it. Now the pasta can go straight in here with a good amount of the pasta water too. And the pasta's still quite al dente. I'm just going to cook it a little bit longer in here, adding a bit more of the pasta water to that. Jackie, would you ever like to open a pub?
That would probably be what I would do if I was going to open my own thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I ever open anything myself, it would be something casual. Restaurants, there's too much pressure, there's too many
Yeah.
expectations.
Would your pub order off a QR code on the table?
No, because I feel like you still need good service.
I'm not a fan of the QR code. I mean, I loved it for a time and
It served
wish
a
I bought
purpose.
shares in QR
Yeah.
codes, but yeah, it's you sort of you want to ask,
Yeah.
well, what is this? What is in this? Is this palm have ham or not?
I need to pay an extra $4 for it.
Yeah.
So it's still a vegetarian pasta. It's just a little bit different. And instead, because we've got the Parmesan cheese in the sauce already, we're going to top it just with our smoked paprika oil.
So we don't get extra as well.
You don't need it. Honestly, $3 for that. A slightly different way of doing a vegetarian pasta. Penne with tomato, capsicum, and smoked paprika oil. I kind of like the fact that, you know, you don't need extra parmesan on it or something, so
That paprika oil, very nice touch.
a little spicy.
That's perfectly cooked pasta. It is great.
You would have said that regardless of how that was cooked. I know that very much.
But it is.
Very polite guest. After the break, these two great Australians will make their takes on the great Australian pub meal. So Tonight on The Cook-Up, we are taking the great Australian pub meal from the beer garden and bringing it into our homes. Hitmaker chef Jackie Challenor and the very talented and very funny Dave Lawson are busy prepping their recipes. Dave, what are you making?
I'm making chicken spare ribs with Australian curry powder.
Beautiful. And Jackie, how about you?
I'm making my mum's chicken shindy with cabbage slaw.
Love a mum recipe. So what's happening? Well, this is not how I would normally see a schnitzel being started.
No. So this is the secret weapon, I guess.
Okay.
Brining. So obviously when you cook something, it loses moisture.
Yes, it does.
So the brining process gives the moisture back before it loses it.
Okay.
And the salt will give it a bit of seasoning as well. So a bit of flavour, a bit of moisture, so your shindy will always come out moist and delicious.
Now, I have a slightly pained expression on my face here because I always hear people say, you got to brine, you got to brine, you got to brine. And I resist it because it's an extra step, but you're telling me it's worth it.
It is 150% worth it, and it really doesn't take that long. With a small piece of chicken like this, it's 10 minutes in the fridge.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not going to drag the process out too much.
And so this is just salt and water?
Salt and water, yeah.
What's the percentage?
So I always do a 10%.
Okay.
For something like that.
10 grams of salt to
100 mils.
100 mils of water.
So this is 100 grams to 1 litre.
Okay, yeah.
So we've done a little bit of boiling water first with the salt, just to dissolve that down, and then add the chilled water to it, because obviously you don't want to put your chicken into hot water because you'll have a little poached shindy instead of a deep fried.
So the chicken just goes straight into that? Okay.
Chicken goes straight in. So
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're talking about this because I think what has put me off is that there are some very elaborate American brine recipes there that do a lot of things. You boil it, you cool it down, then you put your turkey in there, you leave it for 5 days or whatever. And if you're telling me I can just whisk some salt into some water and put it in the fridge for 10 minutes,
you can do it.
I can brine.
You can do it. You can brine.
Okay, so that sits in there for 10 minutes.
just gonna
What else are we doing?
So while this is doing its little thing over here, we are going to do that before I poison anyone. We're going to get our dressing ready for the slaw.
Cabbage slaw, okay.
Cabbage slaw. So, little bowl. So we've got some beautiful Dijon. A good glug of that, because you want it to be quite sharp. It's the king of the mustards. A little bit of caster sugar. A little bit of salt.
Okay.
Tarragon vinegar, because
Tarragon vinegar, fancy.
for a little something extra.
People quite often forget to season their dressings, I think. So it's good to see you adding the salt and stuff in there.
Well, I think if you season the dressing, your salad is always going to be well seasoned. I think oftentimes if you put chunks of salt in there, it can end up a little bit, it's that bit that you bite on.
Yeah.
So I always whisk the mustard in with the vinegar first. And
That
then
smells delicious, actually. Even the tarragon vinegar smells
tarragon
lovely.
vinegar is the secret ingredient. And then just slowly emulsify your olive oil in.
Okay. All right, cool. Dave.
Adam.
Chicken spare ribs.
Yeah.
And Australian curry powder.
Yeah, the chicken rib, I don't know, I found them at, the chicken butcher and they...
Yeah.
It's not like a wing. Like a wing's got the 2 bones. This has got
Yes.
1 bone, really easy to eat, and they're cheap as well. So this is just the Australian curry powder, which you can find online. I think it's got like a lemon myrtle and maybe anise myrtle and some
Fabulous.
mountain pepper leaf. It's really good. And this is so simple. So I'm just mixing that with some
Grapeseed,
rapeseed oil.
yep.
And then it's ready to go. You just marinate that for as long as you need. And I mean, you could stick them straight on if you needed to.
So if you had that going for about a day,
Well, there you
that's
go.
what we end up with.
Then I was going to say, you come back tomorrow and I'll cook these for you tomorrow, but that's lucky we were earlier.
Try to keep
and
it
that's what
half
that
an
looks
hour,
like.
you know,
So
yeah.
it's really simple.
Brilliant. And just on the grill?
Yeah, let's
do
stick
it.
them on. That grill's on.
It is. And you got the oil in there, so you probably don't need
Yeah.
to oil the grill too much.
There's a little mindless. Or what I do, you know what I do? Then I'll work it out later.
Oh, that's not how.
No?
Don't let Jackie see you do that. the reason
Why you don't chuck it all
why
on that?
you don't do that, it primarily is because I think when you're working on a barbecue, you want to work sequentially.
Sure.
So if you start laying out 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7,
Then you know.
when you're turning, you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so
Well, you know what? These are all going to be ready at the same time. Look at that, though. All my customers eat at the same time. All my orders come in at the same
but
time.
I have to say that does smell fantastic.
Oh, this curry powder's great. Yeah, you'll find online Australian curry powder. I think it might even be called
I
Australian
thought you were going to
curry
go for the Keens because you know Keens was invented in Tasmania.
powder. Was it?
Yeah. Anyway,
Keen's curry
all
powder.
the facts here on the cook-up. Jackie.
Hello.
We're getting to the crumbing stage. Okay. Parsley, regular breadcrumbs.
Yep.
Nothing, no panko, no sourdough, no fresh.
No, look.
Good. No.
Whatever's, I mean, you can. Whatever's kicking around.
I'm not judging
It's
here.
not
I
critical.
genuinely think that we often, we have these kind of cool ingredients. And I love a panko breadcrumb, don't get me wrong, but they're not the only breadcrumb in the shop. And
No.
they're not the only way to do what you need to do.
I didn't grow up with panko. I feel like
Nobody
this is
did,
closer to mum's.
honestly.
This is closer to mum's cooking. So the breadcrumbs, parsley, and then a little bit of chopped garlic.
Do you want me to bash out
You
your...
can bash for me.
So you've got,
Chicken's
essentially,
out of the brine.
chicken out of the brine.
Yep.
And we're beating out to... How thin do you go?
About a centimetre.
Okay. And because you brined it, it's still going to be nice and tender.
Exactly. All the preparation is going to lead to a pretty special finished product.
And so once you beat it out, it ends up like that.
Yeah.
And you do have to beat quite thin because it will contract back up once you
It will.
you fry it.
It will indeed. So
And your crumbing process is
flour, and I'm going to pop a little bit of black pepper in there as well.
Great.
We've already got the salt in our brine, so we don't need any salt in there.
okay, and that's all on
It's
and going.
on. So a couple of eggs with a little bit of milk in there just to thin it out.
Of course, you got salt in the brine, so you don't need salt in there.
No.
Okay.
And then our breadcrumbs, and we're going to put lots of this chopped garlic through it and give it a really good mix, just so it's nice and even.
I'm going to
You
see.
can pepper for me.
I'll pepper for you.
Thank you.
I'm being your sous
Excellent
chef here.
assistant.
Don't yell at me.
I don't yell anymore. That's back in the old days when I learned to do that anymore.
I do remember when you were like making peace with the new way of the modern kitchen, and and I really trying to change the culture of kitchens,
Yeah.
and it sort of coincided with a bit of COVID, bit of chefs
There are a lot of external
needing
factors.
life again.
No. I mean, it's a very different world to what it used to be. That's not a bad thing. I think the yelling and the screaming and the pot throwing, it had its day, but it's definitely not really got a place anymore. So I guess the little secret bit that I didn't mention earlier is that these little crumbs with all the leftovers, you can mix the eggs into the leftover crumbs and fry them at the end.
Shut the front
And
door.
that was the prized.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is the coolest thing I've heard in this kitchen in a long time.
Very delicious.
It's kind of like a little
bread
fritter.
dumpling fritter thing with all the leftovers. So no waste, which is wonderful. And that was the bit that we always used to hang around for at the end.
Okay, so chicken into the flour, and it's cool that because it's brine, you don't need to season the flour with salt, and then into the
egg.
What's your frying oil of choice here?
Canola, cottonseed, grapeseed, something neutral that's not gonna with a higher smoking point. But we've got canola here today, so just making sure that it's nice and evenly covered.
I'm a canola fan.
You're a canola fan?
It's a good all-purpose performance oil.
There you go. You learn something new every day.
Look at that. That is looking like a great pub schnitty.
It is, isn't it?
Can I say I'm very excited for the whole fritted dumpling situation. Dave, how are we?
Looking beautiful over here.
I thought you were going to high-five me for a second. I was like, what's going on?
High five, we're doing great, we're doing great.
These are looking fantastic.
Just chopping up my salad here, just getting that nice and chopped, because that's going to sit inside the lettuce cups, and it's an easy one-handed sort of...
Sure.
Like a lettuce slider,
Oh,
I suppose.
that's a cool
Oh,
idea.
you Sancho bao, it's kind of that, but with salad inside.
A Sancho bao. I did serve a salad in a lettuce cup once,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a great idea, and then I put it on my Instagram, and everyone was like, oh, that's a bit weird.
What?
I think where I went wrong is I didn't make them individual. So this is like a hand salad.
And you got a little, you got a little this
Yeah.
with that. Perfect. So
no cutlery required.
no cutlery required, which I think makes a good pub meal. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to clean my thumb up there. I've got avocado all over that. So for the dressing, just going to get some coconut yogurt.
What I've always said about you, Dave. That Dave Lawson always got clean thumbs.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm known for, my clean thumbs. And this is sesame oil. Just pop that in there. Let's
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. No, but coconut yogurt and sesame oil for the dressing. That's
Yep.
and
then maybe a bit of lemon in there too.
Lovely. When we return, here's cheers to Jackie and Dave's great Australian pub meals, and we'll talk about pub food favourites that aren't in Australia. Welcome back to the Cook Up. Tonight we are making great Australian pub meals at home, and you'd be very lucky if Chef Jackie Challenor and actor Dave Lawson were cooking these classics in your home. Dave, how's it looking?
Just plating up, chef.
Oh, wow, that sounded official.
He's professional.
Jackie, you look good to go. Wow.
Good to go.
Look at that. That is phenomenal. I want to go to there.
Go there.
And that could be the best idea I've ever heard.
That's the
ever.
best part of the whole thing. The chicken,
Amazing.
we can probably just put that to the side.
Amazing.
Mate.
Dave.
For a pub meal, this is like one of those entrees you would order for the table.
What kind of fancy pubs are you going to? This is serious. Well, I mean, you do get chicken wings and chicken ribs. You could do this with wings, wouldn't
There's
you?
an interpretation.
Okay.
Look at that. And then you go, oh, let's go to that pub where they do those chicken ribs. And they go, you mean chicken wings? I go, no, chicken ribs.
Yeah.
There you go.
The one-handed salad.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with so many pub meals is the salad just gets left there.
Yeah.
You can't leave that.
And you can hold your pint, your schooner, or your midi, wherever you're from.
Yeah.
And
Mum's chicken schnitty with cabbage slaw and chicken ribs with Australian curry powder. I swear, two of the best ideas I've ever seen in this episode. A salad that you can eat with your hand and a fritter.
normally I say at my restaurant, not bon appetit, I say good luck. So,
That curry powder's delicious.
good.
Oh, goodness, it is too.
You know what? That's not too
I
bad.
can cook.
That's not too bad. I shouldn't be so surprised, should I? We try it again with me not being so surprised.
Oh, that's how I was supposed to say.
Just what I do, mate.
That's great.
Good job, chef.
Thank you, chef.
You should tell people that's made with wings so that people don't rush out and buy so many chicken ribs now and jack the price up.
Yeah, I want to keep that price low.
Beautiful.
Now for the mains.
Yes. Schnitzel and salad.
Don't forget the lemon.
On top of the schnitzel. And that's the, I overheard you saying that's the leftover bread and the egg.
The breadcrumbs and
What do you
the
call
egg
that?
mix.
What do you call that?
Poor immigrants trying to feed 5 children.
Oh,
It's my mum's little secret. So that was always what she did with the leftovers.
that's a good schnitzel.
You've both solved the number one pub problem of people not finishing the salad that's put on the plate and essentially just wasting all the effort and ingredients that have gone into that. Because, Dave, your salad's amazing. Jackie, that salad is just, well, the coleslaw is incredible. The tarragon vinegar actually comes all the way through from the beginning to the end. It's
Well, I
fantastic.
prefer slaw without the mayo. I think if you're going to eat it with something that's heavily deep fried,
Sure.
something a little bit lighter and sharper.
And that schnitzel, you could easily add some ham and some cheese to it.
Pubs are, of course, not just an Australian thing. Every country in the world has its, I guess, standardised, casual places to eat. Dave, is there something that at a pub or pub equivalent somewhere around the world that's your go-to? Or
I
something you
reckon
enjoy?
you go to, like in the States, they seem to have the dive bars or the diners with those hot buffalo wings.
They sell them by the kilo or something. Yeah, most pubs are like,
right.
do you want 3 kilos of buffalo wings? Sure.
No, you can't just get one or two.
They're good, though.
Yeah,
They are good. Jackie, what about you?
I just had a very wonderful trip to Paris and a brasserie bistro,
Yeah.
a very different version to what we expect here, I guess, pub food standards.
But
you
it's also
still
like-
get
it's a place where you know the
steak
menu,
frites,
right?
Same thing,
Yeah,
right? Like
steak
it's still got the bones of what you would have here, but it's just, you say it in French,
Steak
it's a little bit
frites is
fancier,
so
isn't it?
I love a ploughman's lunch. You know, go to the Cotswolds or something, and you sit outside. It's a beautiful day on the one day of the year that it's nice in the Cotswolds, and you sit there and you just have a nice ploughman's lunch with English cheddar and ham and
That's a good
a
pick.
cider.
Yeah.
That's it for me. Dave, Jackie, thank you so much for joining me. These should be our pub classics.
Shall we open a pub?
Yeah. Yes.
Whether you're partial to a palmy or big on burgers, there is no need for great Australian pub meals to stay confined to the pub. Bring them home and introduce them to your friends and family. Up to you if you want to charge them extra for ham. If you want more of the cook-up and more delicious food ideas, head to SBS On Demand. I'm Adam Liaw. Thanks for watching The Cook-Up.